It's all Avengers, all September long. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we are unboxing and reviewing the Hasbro Marvels Avengers figure Iron Man, based off of the video game that has now come out. And I can't think of a better character that we should be able to go in depth on and review. That is going to be the man himself, Mr. Tony Stark, Iron Man. That episode starts right now. It's a great day on the internet, everybody. Welcome back to Assemble. I'm Matt. Thank you for joining us. And today, like I said, it's all about Iron Man. We're continuing all September long with all things Marvel's Avengers and MCU related. And I'm very excited because we are going to unbox this Hasbro figure from the Gameverse lineup based off of the Marvel Avengers video game that's already come out. And we're going to go through everything from the design, the color, the articulation, and our overall thoughts and opinions. So, as always, let's get right into it. First thing we gotta do, everybody, is we gotta talk about overall first impressions, don't we? Taking a look at Iron Man right here, I am impressed. I really like that the size of the figure, we're getting about a 6-inch Iron Man. It's very much in line with that of the video game that has just come out, which I'm a big fan of. I'm still leveling up my Iron Man as we speak. There's a lot to like about this figure, much like the Captain America that we reviewed previously. You're getting Iron Man with two interchangeable hands, so you're getting the blasters as well as you're getting the fists. And when it comes to the blasters, you are getting that blue blast that's actually coming out, which is a nice touch because you can not only use it for Iron Man's hands, but you can actually attach it to his feet. So if you want Iron Man to actually blast in the air, you can have that pose as well. He's got full motion twist of his chest piece, as well as his head and his legs and his arms, which I think is really good because some figures, they don't actually let you articulate very much. I gotta say that for a $30 value for this figure, I think that you're actually getting your money's worth. There's a lot to like about Iron Man in general, right? And you can get action figures at any point. I mean, there's tons from the retro ones that they have released from Hasbro to the Gameverse ones that we have today, as well as some other ones. And they've always got different variations on them and different styling. What I like is that I'm getting the Iron Man that's going to be very much tied into the video game, and I'm getting like the same style and attention to detail for the suit that he actually wears in the game, which is awesome. I'm a big fan of the Marvel's Avengers video game. If you couldn't tell already, I'm already enjoying it. And characters like Captain America and Iron Man and Thor are the ones that I am progressing up and up in the skill tree. What about you guys? Who do you find that you're maining right now? And I'm finding that I'm enjoying the game so much because I'm able to change around who I want to play with at any given point and feel like that it's different enough. There's some issues when it comes to Iron Man in the video game, like we've talked about his flight and how it's kind of spongy. Being able to target and lock onto enemies is a little bit tough. But what I did find in the game, either I just completely missed it, or as I've upgraded, I have the lock-on feature when it comes to Iron Man's like rockets. And I'm really loving that because when I'm in flight mode and I use the rockets to lock onto enemies, now it actually locks on and I can fire, and I feel like I've got way more control over Iron Man. So I'm starting to figure out all of his movements. His combos are really good, and I'm starting to really like how he plays and feels. Now, when it does come to how it plays and feels, that's a dirty joke, isn't it? Let's talk about articulation. Articulation in Iron Man is awesome. He's got full swivel of his head, his arms, and his joints in his arms and his elbows all move around. Everything is great. His hands actually do pop out, obviously, because they're interchangeable, like we said, but I do like how well they actually click into Iron Man's wrists. Because for some, when you're doing the interchangeable hands, they either feel a little bit too loose or they're overly stiff. And this, I feel like they just click in and you're on your way. His chest piece, his upper chest does pivot up and down, so you can bend him, which is really nice because if you want to get Iron Man in those flight poses, you can do that. It looks strange at first when you want to crouch him down so much, but when you think about it, I have the ability to have him looking straight up like he's about to take flight, or I can crouch him down with his chest piece hunched over like he's looking down at an enemy ready to blast. His waist actually rotates full 360, which is a really nice touch because sometimes you have a little bit of stiffness and it only goes a little bit, but you have full 360 turn on him. And his legs as well, they're really stiff around his thighs. Those joints are tight, but that's really good because it's not going to be too flimsy. And speaking of which, when you actually are going to stand Iron Man on his own, this is what I really like about this action figure, is that he's got good strength in his feet. He's got a wide enough stance that I don't worry about him toppling over. And this is actually what I've liked about the Gameverse lineup so far. If you look right over here, you can actually see that we have Captain America already, and we did that previous unboxing last week. So go check that one out, guys. But what I like is that how well they actually stand. I haven't had Cap topple over at all, and since I've had Iron Man, I have had no issues. So I like how well they're put together. Some figures are so slim when it comes to their legs, and I get that they're trying to go for the design. It's particularly when they do female figures in that molding, they're really tough on the legs in that they're so thin that they can barely stand. What I like about Iron Man here is that he is very well put together, and he's really not flimsy, so you're not gonna have any real issues when it comes to getting him to stand. And ladies and sirs, if you are new to the show, can you do me a favor, huh? Could you do me one little thing? Hit the bell, hit the subscribe button, because guess what? September, we are doing everything Marvel Legends, Marvel, MCU related. It is all about Marvel's Avengers, the video game, everything encompassing Marvel Universe, and I'm very excited about it. And for September, we have a September goal of 200 subscribers. We are almost there, everybody, because of your amazing support. So if you can, support the channel so we can continue to do all of our video unboxings like this. It goes a long way, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch. Next up on the list that is very important, and it's always important when we're talking about Iron Man, it's going to be the suit and the color of that suit. So let's talk about that right now. Iron Man's suit design, again, it's lined up with the Marvel's Avengers video game, which I really appreciate because it's a little different take on the suit itself. When I first looked at this, guys, I was looking online, and I've been shopping for this Iron Man for a while, and for some of you, I know that it's been really difficult to try to find one in stock. And I've found some of them that are actually way overpriced, and I got my hands on this one off Amazon, which was great, and it came in around 30 bucks. What I had a hard time with originally was deciding whether I was going to get this or not. I wasn't sold on the helmet design of Iron Man. In the suit, I found a little generic, but that was at my first glance before I actually had it in my hands. But now that I've played the game, I've beaten the campaign in it, now I have way more like affinity for it. Now I care for it a lot more. I appreciate it a lot more for what it is. It is a fairly simple design for the suit overall, but what I do like is that you're getting little splashes of like original Iron Man 1 from the movies. I get Iron Man when he's got that little bit of gold splash around his arms, his chest piece, his legs, and his helmet, and you're getting that little bit of an upgraded design too, because with the Mark suit, it's slimmer too, it's tighter to Tony's body. Like, I really like how it all came together. The interchangeable hands, like I've said, for the suit, they are really good too. I like being able to put in the extra hands with the blasters, and I'm getting some really good options when it comes to all of the different ways that I can actually pose Tony. The one criticism I am going to give for the suit is that when I look at his center chest piece and that chest plate, I wish that they added a little more color. If you see us here where we zoomed in on it, I find that it's a little bit dull. I mean, you're just looking at a couple of dots with it, and it has just a kind of a white circle around it. I wish that they brought it to life where they actually gave it a little bit more personality. Maybe they could have made it glow, and really because they have that light blue, almost teal blasters that come with it, I think that they could have actually incorporated that coloring into his chest plate, just to make it a little bit more unique. And even with that, I'd say the same thing when it comes to Tony's eyes. I think that they could have been a little bit bigger so you can have a little bit more dramatic of a pose. I know that it's a helmet, you can't really do too much with it, but I do wish that they changed the sculpting, or at least the look of Iron Man's face on the helmet, just to kind of vary it up a bit. I think that the paint overall, the one that I got, I'm actually really enjoying it because I have zero issues when it comes to scuffs or markings on it. Like, it's really well put together. The shine on the actual paint is well done. There's no bleeding over from the edges from the paint itself. Like, I gotta give Hasbro some credit here. They did a really good job when it comes to this Iron Man. One criticism that I am gonna give it though, on top of having his actual chest plate, not having any more color attention to detail, and I'm sure that's just to cover costs because it's going to take a lot to actually get those manufactured and get all the chest pieces to actually have a different color, putting it all together. But I do wish that I have the interchangeable hands, which is great. That's a great bonus with the blasters. I do wish that I had an interchangeable head for Tony. I would have paid an extra maybe $5 on this if they upgraded it and you were going to be able to get that. Now, because this is dealing with a Bath figure lineup, because I'm going to be able to build this out and get to Abomination, it comes standard with the Abomination leg. So for the Build-A-Figures, you're going to go ahead and get every single figure in the lineup like Kamala, and you're going to be able to continue to build it so that I can actually build Abomination at the end. So we'll see if I'm actually going to do that. I'm not too sure. I have Cap and I've got Iron Man so far. I don't know if I feel like grabbing the rest or not. We'll see. I do really enjoy the lineup, but it is my one criticism when it comes to Iron Man. I do wish that I was able to get an extra head sculpting. It just would have made things a little bit more dynamic if I could change it up. I get that it's Iron Man and he's got the helmet and it's really just one perspective, but maybe even one where it's actually got his plate open and you could see Tony's face. That would have been really cool too. So everybody, should you pick up this version of Iron Man from Hasbro, focusing in on the Marvels Avengers video game? I think so. At first glance, it's not a lot to write home about, but again, it's Iron Man and he's in a robot suit, so there's only so much you can do, but they've done a good attention to detail when it comes to Iron Man's suit. I like that I get interchangeable blasters. I like that I'm actually getting the blasters themselves. That's always a really nice touch. For 30 bucks, I think it's a good deal. Maybe you could find it online and get it a little bit cheaper now that the game is out and the figure has been out for quite some time. So if you guys can get it a little bit cheaper, that's when I would probably end up definitely going for it. And really, if you want to be able to build out that Marvel's Avengers lineup, like the video game, you're going to want Cap and you're going to want Iron Man and Kamala, and you're going to want to build that out. So highly recommend if you guys have the budget and you want to build out this specific set, and you're going to get Abomination at the very end, which is really a nice bonus. I would really pick this up if you're interested. Anyways, guys, that wraps up another unboxing from this week on Assemble. I'm Matt. Thank you so much for joining us. Next week, we are doing another unboxing. Stay tuned for that. We're going to be diving in a little bit more into Spider-Man, which is always a favorite of mine. So I can't wait to show you what we got coming up next. If you can, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you enjoy unboxings for collectibles like this, we also do 3 shows in total a week, guys. So we have our unboxings. We have Top Shelf Tuesday, which, go figure, airs on every single Tuesday, where we rank and discuss kind of our top whatever for the day. If it's going to be things that are Marvel related, it's going to be the games, the movies, the characters. We rank all of that stuff every single Tuesday. Wednesdays is our unboxings like Iron Man today, and Friday is Free For All Friday. We take community questions and we discuss them in depth, and it's one of my favorite things of the week. That wraps it up here on Assemble. I'm Matt. Thank you so much for joining us, and as always, thank you for assembling with us. See ya.